leaving Rock Valley, however, I had the good fortune to meet the Hubbard family. Ken and Mary grew up here, spent their childhoods on family farms, swimming in the Rock River in the summers. They're unhappy with the changes they're seeing on the landscape around them, however, and are considering throwing in the towel. Hi, Ken. Hi, Mary. Thanks for chatting with me today. I was hoping you guys could tell me a little bit more about what it was like growing up here in Rock Valley.
Well, my grandfather came here in the 1930s, and he took over from my great-grandpa's hog operation. Mary grew up just down the road at the family's dairy farm. They milked about 50 head and grew some hay, some corn, you know, oats, that kind of thing. Didn't you have some chickens as well?
Yeah, we had a little of everything, Meredith. It was just so nice to grow up there and lay out in the pasture with the cows. Right by the river, we even had an old cottonwood that had a great swing. You could swing off right into the river.
Aw, it sounds idyllic. Why would you guys ever want to leave?
Well, my parents sold the farm to a big pig operation and moved into town about 15 years ago. And by that time, they were surrounded by the feedlots, and the smell was just terrible.
I imagine. Kind of takes the pleasure out of drinking your morning coffee on the porch, I suppose.
You got it. Mom developed asthma from the dirt that would blow across the lots into their house. Eventually, the guys over there made them a deal they couldn't refuse, and within a week, there were 40 hogs in the space where our house used to be.
Yeah, and for me, my parents actually got rid of their cattle in the 1970s. They switched over to where the money was, where the cash grain. They even got rid of that old cottonwood because they planted right up to the riverbed. Everything was gone. They lost some of the land in the 80s, you know, hard times and everything. Eventually, Mama ended up working at the library in town just to help support everything because the farm wasn't working. And, you know, they're getting up there now in age, getting kind of old, and they think that we're going to take over the land, but I just don't know.
Doesn't sound like it's the town you grew up in, not the same place anymore.
No, it's not the same at all. We were hoping to one day start a family, but I don't think that we could really ever think of having kids growing up around here. The only future that they would have is working at a CAFO. And, you know, Ken here, he's got to go looking down in Sioux Falls down for jobs.
Well, good luck with that. I wish you all the best. Thanks for talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I decided to next see how the city folk of Iowa felt about the CAFOs that are spreading across their state. I made my way southeast to Des Moines, where I met a group of college students who shared the horrifying experience one of their friends is facing right now. To meet Bethany, I made my way to Iowa Lutheran Hospital, where Dr. Braden was kind enough to give me an update on Bethany's case. Dr. Braden, can you please tell us about
Bethany is suffering from hemolytic uremic syndrome. It is a kidney failure caused by E. coli 0157. She became ill last week after eating a pastrami sandwich made with pork. Typically we see severe gastroenteritis with these kind of cases of food poisoning, but Bethany has a particularly devious bug. It has evaded all the antibiotics we have used.
Wow, that's horrifying.
Don't even get me started. And I'm worried that we'll see more and more of such cases. Do you know that over 70% of the antibiotics used in America go to livestock?
Really? Do animals get sick that much more than we do?
No, not normally, but the way in which modern livestock are housed and fed means that they must be given such antibiotics to stave off infections from overcrowding and poor hygiene. The effect has been to render more and more of our lines of defense useless against this bacterial infections.
Wow. You'd think the government would have done something to prevent this from happening.
Yes, indeed you would. Just this month we are seeing some of the first laws to attempt to remedy this situation about the indiscriminate use of antibiotics in livestock.
Well, too little, too late for Bethany, I say. So what's the plan for her?
We have an extended sensitivity panel on Bethany's blood cultures, and we are hopeful that the bug will be sensitive to one of our 5th-generation cephalosporins. In the meantime, she is on renal dialysis.
Well, thank you for talking to us today. I hope we get the opportunity to meet Bethany later, and we wish her the best. Thank you, Dr. Braden.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, I'm doing all right, I guess. Aside from, you know, the constant vomiting, my kidneys shutting down and being hooked up to machines constantly. kind of wish I had gotten pizza instead of a sub that day. I'm really healthy usually, and now I get to live hooked up to machines for the foreseeable future.
We now go live to Madison, Wisconsin, where the pig issue is really coming to a head. Tensions are beginning to build in neighboring states as rumors begin to circulate about the possibility of a military operation to seek and destroy Iowa's weapons of mass destruction, the manure lagoons. Here with us again is Meredith Brokow.
Oink, 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 oink,
Oink, oink, oink, oink, oink, oink, oink. Give pigs a chance. Give pigs a chance. Give pigs a chance. Give pigs a chance.
I went to the Wisconsin State Capitol, where the normal hustle and bustle of the Saturday farmers market was enveloped by a sea of protesters. It seems that the people of Wisconsin have strong feelings about the fate of their Iowa neighbors, but they are not. They are divided on their feelings of what that fate should be. Would one of you like to be on TV?
Oh, yes,
Come on over. I'm Meredith Brokaw with NBC Nightly News.
Hello, Meredith.
Who are you?
My name is Caitlin Henning. I am an agroecologist at the University of Wisconsin, Madison.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Free the pigs.
Could you tell us a little more? Why all the opposition to military involvement? Is it not true that these weapons of mass destruction are going to be far easier to find than the ones we went looking for in Iraq?
Well, Meredith, according to my talking points here, the easiest way to solve this problem is to simply free the pigs. They're so squishy and adorable and lovable, and they just deserve to be out on the land where they belong. They may not be native to our landscapes, but they are native to our hearts.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. You've certainly given us a lot to think about here. And with NBC Nightly News, I am Meredith Brokaw.
Ma'am, my forces are standing by. If you want to launch the invasion, you're going to need to press that button now.
Ma'am, may I remind you that this is an election year, and if we give the Iowans a good stomping, it'll play really well in the red states. And I feel it is my duty to remind you that Iowa did not vote for you last term.
Well, tell me this, what about the food supply?
Not to worry, ma'am. Plenty of other states provide cheap, dirty pork using the methods we've talked about. So, blowing up the Iowa manure lagoons and liquidating the bioweapons facility operators will not substantially affect the national consumption of big, beautiful brats.
But wait, Iowa isn't the only state that's the threat. There are other states that are producing these super bugs.
Ma'am, we need to set an example in the entire Middle West. When we take out Iowa, I predict a wave of democracy will spread across the land. They'll greet us with flowers.
I don't know. Preemptive strikes are not exactly an American value.
I've got to agree with Madam President here. I mean, war is not always the answer. We could undercut the Iowan economy by eating less pork. We can ban non-therapeutic antibiotics like European countries have done. And we can give the inspectors more time to check the feedlots. Iowa only produces these super bacteria because it's profitable. And if it stops being profitable, they'll switch to safer methods. We need to work on the demand side and not just the supply side. Now, if we just take a look at—
Carpet bomb! Carpet bomb!
Well, ma'am, what are you going to do?